Welcome to a short presentation of British art. Well, if you go to Trafalgar Square, you'll find this building. It's the National Gallery. Along with the Tate Gallery, it is the most distinguished galleries for art in Britain and some of the most interesting collections in the world. One of the most English painters is John Constable, and he really portrays the English green and the pastures. See here the fishermen on the river, the cattle, and far, far away a castle. Approximately the same time, we'll find Turner, one of the proto-impressionist painters. This is from Venice, obviously, and see how he portrays the atmosphere and the light, and the color is very distinctive. This again is a very English painting indeed, with all the greens and all the plants, and the main character here is obviously Ophelia from Hamlet by Shakespeare. Millet is the artist. I find this painting peculiar and particularly funny. If you look at the gaze of the portraitees, the man with the hunting rifle, and look at the wife with her gigantic blue dress. She takes up the entire bench, and maybe we don't feel a proper togetherness in this relationship. Now, the English and their horses is a chapter of its own, and there is one particular painter who only painted horses shiny and muscular, and that's Whistlejacket. The English mythology, here portrayed by William Blake, a very peculiar and dark artist. And in moving on with the surreal movement, this is Leonora Carrington, and see how she catches the unreal and the dreamlike narrative. Moving on to the 60s, we have David Hockney, a pop artist, the same time as the Beatles and the Rolling Stones. And what we have here is a Hollywood house portrayed in almost a minimalist fashion. And we clearly see that someone has jumped into the pool because of the splash, and the painting itself is called A Greater Splash. Moving on to more modern times, this is Francis Bacon, and it's a pope, and it's a dead cow up on the wall there, and Francis himself. This is not a self-portrait, but his partner, and the portraiture aims to capture the inner emotions of the portraitee. Now, this is Jenny Saville, who attended the same school as I did in Glasgow, and she does not shy away from the obesity and body ideals. So that's quite a conversation piece. More modern art here with Rachel Whitered. And what is it? Well, it's an apartment house. So, but it's the negative. It's the everything that isn't the house. It's like if you would pour concrete into a house from top to bottom. This is what you would find. One of the more interesting artists from the 90s is Tracy Emin, here with her tent, where she has sewn in all the names and phone numbers of people whom she has shared a bed with. Quite conceptual. This is Lucian Freud, grandson of Sigmund Freud, the psychoanalyst. And well, Lucian Freud, he paints people the way they are, very uncompromising. I don't really think that Queen Elizabeth II knew about his exact style when she asked to be portrayed by the most prominent British artist at the time. And this portrait was rather criticized for being too harsh. For the love of God. Well, that's the name of this art piece. It is actually a cranium, and it's filled with diamonds, which makes it the most expensive artwork in modern times, by Damien Hirst. This is an installation which is quite interesting, I think. It is Cornelia Parker, and she has blown up a shed, and she used um, explosive devices from the British military, and she recorded the explosion from many angles, and then she stopped the films at the exact same time. So that's how she could hang each shred of the shed in the exact right spot. If you visit this installation, which I did at the Tate quite a few years ago, it does really feel like you're walking into an explosion. Moving on to the street art movement, Banksy is the most prominent artist with his humorous and many times political commentary on street walls, not only in London or Britain but all over the world. That was it. Thank you. Cheerio.